I got bamboozled on Valorant. Not once, not occasionally. On a reliable, humiliating schedule. I'd pick a corner, I'd see the guy, I'd click, dead, every single time, like clockwork. So I did what any reasonable person does. I blamed my gear. Now, was my gear actually the problem? Partially, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you about my current setup at the time. Samsung Odyssey G5, 165Hz, curved, properly configured. I wasn't doing anything wrong there. The monitor was running at its full refresh rate. Settings were correct. Everything was fine on paper. And then there was the mouse. Logitech G502 Hero, 121 grams. 121. For reference, a AA battery is about 23 grams. I was tracking 5 batteries across my mousepad every time I tried to aim. My wrist was not happy. My wrist was, in fact, considering legal action. So that was the setup. A decent monitor and a mouse that moonlights as gym equipment. Let's talk about what was actually wrong. Okay, so the G5, good monitor, I liked it. But after getting cooked in enough Valorant matches, I started wondering, is 165Hz actually enough? Is the panel type doing something weird? And that's when I fell into the panel type rabbit hole. There are three main panel technologies: TN, VA, and IPS. They all make images appear on your screen, but they all do it differently, and they all have opinions about each other. TN panels, twisted pneumatic, the oldest of the three. Response times are extremely fast, input lag is slow, and the colors look like someone described the sunset to a computer that had never seen one. Washed out, inaccurate, and if you tilt your head slightly, the image starts inverting. Viewing angles are essentially non-existent. VA panels, known as vertical alignment. This is what the G5 uses. VA panels have excellent contrast ratio and deep blacks. Movies look gorgeous on them. The problem, and this is one that was quietly killing me in Valorant, is something called dark level smearing. When dark pixels change quickly, they don't transition as fast as bright pixels. So on fast motion, especially in dark areas, you get this subtle trailing effect. A ghost behind moving objects. In a shooter, where you're constantly peeking into shadowed corners and tracking enemies across the screen, that smearing is working against you on every single engagement. It's not dramatic, it doesn't look broken, it just makes things slightly harder to track than they should be. And in Valorant, slightly harder is enough. And now we're on to IPS panels. In plane switching. Best color accuracy of the three. Wide viewing angles. And modern IPS panels have gotten fast enough that the old response time disadvantage is basically gone. No smearing, colors look right, motion looks clean. This is where gaming monitors have landed for the most people who want good visuals and competitive performance at the same time. So the G5 VA panel was doing that smearing thing the whole time, and I just blamed my aim. Incredible. Okay, now that the monitor situation is sorted, my head, mouse next. The G502 situation is pretty simple. It's a great mouse, precise sensor, tons of buttons, feels premium, but 121 grams is heavy. That's just the reality, and weight matters in two ways. First, fatigue. A heavier mouse takes more effort to move, stop, and redirect. Over a 2 or 3 hour session, your wrist and forearm accumulate that effort and get tired. Tired muscles are less precise. You start missing flicks you were hitting in an hour ago, and you think your aim is getting worse. It's not your aim, it's your wrist quietly giving up. Second, speed. Lighter mice let you move faster with less effort. Flicks are snappier, macro adjustments are easier. Your hand isn't fighting the weight of the mouse while also trying to land a headshot. The competitive gaming standard right now is under 80 grams. A lot of serious players go under 70. The G502 is 121, and it's not even close. Then I learned about polling rates, which sounds complicated and isn't really. Polling rate is how many times per second your mouse tells your computer where it is. Measured in hertz, the G502 goes up to 1000 hertz, meaning it reports its position 1000 times per second, once every millisecond. That's the standard for gaming mice. Some newer ones go up to 4 or even 8000 hertz, which at that point I think the mouse is just overachieving for the sake of it. The practical advice: 1000 Hz is fine. You're not leaving anything meaningful on the table, even at 2000. The difference between 1000 and 8000 is a debate for people with very fast reaction times and a lot of free time. My reaction time is not fast enough to have this debate. So, armed with all of this information, I made my decision. New monitor, AOC 27 inch 240Hz, IPS panel, faster than the G5, bigger, better, no VA smearing, the jump from 165 VA to 240Hz, IPS, both the refresh rate and the panel change happening at the same time is pretty significant. Motion is noticeably clearer. Tracking enemies is easier. It's not night and day difference, but it's consistent. Every engagement feels like a bit more readable. Now comes the best part: the new mouse. Logitech G Pro Superlight. 61 grams. I opened the box and genuinely thought something was missing. Picked it up and it felt like a prop, a fake mouse. But it has the same excellent Hero 25K sensor, up to 8000 pulling rates, but I'm only going to use 2000. And my wrist has not complained once since I switched. Going from 121 grams to 61 grams is not a subtle difference. It feels like cheating, the good kind.